When you come to Cape Town, the city by the seaside, you'll meet a lot of friends, have lots of fun. Cape Town's number one. Sunshine, beaches, vineyards, the good times, say hello there. Under Table Mountain.
Guys, welcome to Adam. Just a podcast chat about the colored folk, the colored man specifically, where we're going to. And today we have Tony Barnes on the couch, just chilling, chatting. Don't know if you guys can hear the jams going. We're not live today, but it will be posted and so forth, being put on YouTube. So yeah, we'll just be chatting, discovering every guy coming through on the couch and what they mean, and if we know each other, where we know each other from, possibly how we met and so forth. That chats will just go on along the way as we go. If there's anything you want to throw out, chat, talk about, can feel free to do so. So yeah, Tony Barnes, where is the man from, my bro? Where in the Kaap is the man from? We are situated in Cape Town. Like I mentioned, just a colored chat. So where in the Kaap is the man from?
Born in Mitchells Plain, grew up in Summer Greens, and from there moved out to Pottersuck and now currently in Parklands. Yeah.
Dope. Quite a journey.
Quite a journey.
Quite a adventure.
It's been a journey.
Oh, yeah, and that is what the chat is about, you know what I mean? Just actually realizing and taking forth, wow, we came from there to there to there and gonna go elsewhere that the Lord has in store, you know. And that is amazing just to hear where the money's from. So that's the Plain, which is a situated area in Cape Town, quite far out, more in the southern suburbs. We are situated in the north. So from south to north, from the bottom to the top. So yeah, that's quite interesting, my bro. And how was it in the area, if you recall? I was growing up in the area, the scenery, the vibe.
Specifically, I think I'll start off from the beginning, because I would always, even though that I relocated to Summer Greens, I'd always go back to visit my granny, spend time with my cousins. Most weekends I'm there. You know what I mean? So in terms of that aspect of life, that was super dope. You know what I mean? I was always around family, always around cousins, always catching on, you know, the world of nonsense. So that was dope. Going camping with them and all those kind of things, all those memories. You know, when it comes to a certain time of the year, which that side of the world, there's just a clumps of us, basically. So you know, that time of the year, you're prepping for that.
And
you're going camping.
What time is that? That is your November,
that's usually like your January.
Jan.
Yeah, it's usually December into January. But they always do like marches, road marches before the time and stuff like that.
And that's in the city centre, that will be in the main CBD in Cape Town, where marches are held. I don't know if they are
the stadium was used to call Green Point, now it's Cape Town Stadium.
True. And do they still hold the marches?
They still do. But I think they changed the dates.
Yes.
There's a lot of new regulations and those kind of things. So they've moved it, I think, now to the second week. I think this year it started the 7th of Jan, I think.
Jeez, and it used to be the 1st of Jan.
It used to be the first.
Because you would set up the Friday radio, the 31st or the 30th.
You already booked off.
You catch a spot on the street.
Go early as possible. If you're not going with the actual clubs now, to each areas basically, because they will march from one area to the other area, and then they'll make themselves at the stadium. They'll arrive at the stadium and do a couple of marches outside before they go in. So it was always packed, always busy, always jamming, always musical things happening. In that stage of my life, that was pretty tough.
I got some more questions on the area also, but also just on the clubs and what the clubs is, which is the Cape Minstrels regionally, also known as Malay choirs, as the clubs breaks off into a musical competition as well. where like I mentioned, it's a minstrel, so it's musically based.
Yeah.
And it's bands, several bands in Cape Town, and actually in Cape Town, and at a certain time, as we are gonna discover, like I mentioned, this is just the chat is about where we come from, and so Cape Minstrels is quite big. Myself had a huge desire to be in the Cape Minstrels, but because of the gangsterism within the Klopse, my family was very against it. So we actually had something called the Brigade, which was just a different version of it. But that was one of the things very big also in the clubs, gangsterism. But back to the clubs, the Malay people, which is a people, or not a tribe, but more people. You already know who the Malaysians are, and they was enslaved, as some people know, even more people than Cape Townians know. So I never knew any of most of the things that I'm gonna be speaking about throughout the podcast and throughout the chats. And I've just been doing my research and doing my, double checking. I can't be coming here not knowing what's going on and blown away, as Tony knows. He's always been in the loop about what's going on and what I've been aiming at. So that being said, the Malaysian people are also a group of many indigenous people that were brought to Cape Town as slaves. And one of the things then that broke out of the cultures, apart from them being at the Cape of South Africa, Cape Town, they owned, one would say, the society at that time in the district, being brought as slaves, finding their freedom once in that period, and then dominating. This is where the colored people then derives from. We were then taken away from there and split up into several other places, which most of my guests are going to be discussing and talking about, and we'll be just discussing and reflecting, as most Cape Townians, myself included, is not aware of certain things. So the Malays, the main people that actually created the clubs and the Cape Minstrels. And back to that, it was very big at the time. As cultures change, that was very big in the culture. Like Tony mentioned, still is, but it's not that big because they really took the data away. And once you took the data away, technically it takes the purpose away. One can not argue that fact, So that's one other thing that just dawned on me now. You know what I mean? That date was taken away. Another part of our culture in the 20th century.
It really places hurdles for us to, to make it difficult for us to attempt to do these things that we try to uplift and hold, in our culture.
In our culture, which we are still trying to fight for, which myself and Tony don't know how it is that we are sitting here and discussing this today. We've never planned it, really, never. Just dawns on us that we have so much things to still discover about ourselves and about our people. And it's quite interesting, nice time in our life that we get to do so. And this being it, and once more, the Cape Malay, the clubs are very big. Search it up, check the videos out. Something that shocked me as well is that many videos of Cape culture people is not on the net. It's not even there. The recent videos are videos of Youngsta, Cape Town rapper, and that's about 2 years ago, a year ago, and that's quite far back, you know what I mean? Being it that we're in a media-orientated world where everybody has a TikTok, doing a TikTok, but not anything cultural, which is just shocking.
That platform.
It's just shocking, and that's another topic actually that we're gonna be discussing, and I'm glad you bring it up. No one creating that platform or even wanting to create their own platform, you know what I mean? But with that said, was there anything else that you wanted to say that I maybe missed out on the history of the Cape Malay and the club? Sorry, not just the Cape Malay.
I think
it's
more like the behind the scenes. So it's more of the behind the scenes that I was trying to add, because my granny used to make the clubs again.
Nice.
And
that's
your
deep.
attire you wear for that.
That's
for that period.
Yeah, that's deep, because that technically means that not you own the team, but it's your team. It's That's
Yeah,
your team, you know.
100%.
So that's very deep.
90% of the time, that's the team we usually going with.
Of course, no, 100%, but even deeper than that, when I mean that, I mean they're in your house almost all the time.
Club Cements is in your house.
All the time for that period of the year, and even throughout
busy.
life, you know. But that period of the year, your house is gonna be jam packed with 30 to 40 people. So that's crazy, and just open, full of love, full of happiness, and like we discussing something I just realized I didn't even know. I thought it stopped. I thought because it's not the first anymore. It's not the first
I
anymore.
always knew they tried to make these hurdles or make it a bit more complicated for us to actually try to do this, because I know they wanted to scrap it completely.
Okay.
That's why some teams have to go to the stadium in Eckelo now. Well, not now, but I mean it's been going on now for a while. But for as long as I can remember, most of everyone went to Greenpoint Stadium. That's where you march and you sit there till the whole day.
Yeah, because it's the only stadium that can contain the whole festivity of the day. Like I was mentioning, where the Malays come in, or not the Malay, it's split up between musical and vocal, where there's a singing competition.
Yes,
well.
100%.
I'm a beautiful vocalist, you'll never hear the acoustics or the melodies like that. I swear to you. So that is profound.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of competitions within the actual competition.
Exactly.
Where you get judged on based on your voorlooper, your band,
like a
how you march
usual
and those kind of
musical
things.
competition.
Yes, exactly.
And that's just one part of the culture that is being trying to be broken away and taken away, as we just discussed, with the date usually being the 1st of Jan, lasting for about 2 to 3 days. I'll say two.
I'll say a week.
A week. Okay, damn.
I don't know what the criteria is now.
Okay.
How many days it goes on for now, but yeah. Would you lead up to your finals and things like that?
Oh jeez. Damn, I'm normally talking about the street marches, yeah.
Street marches last longer.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Street marches, you get a tafels or something, it's nice with people actually make watermelon, or they put out food and stuff for you, then you stop by after a long march, because in January now,
you eat a lot, like you just
because you up early in the morning on the bus, on the Golden Arrow bus.
You just munching away, shouting.
You just want that break just to get off your feet, because you hold it on your feet. But it was mad fun.
Of course. A pivotal time. If you were able to do it, you know, I managed to have lots of friends that were in it. So you end up going to watch it, and you end up going to visit, you know what I mean? And you get part of the culture, even though you're not in it, it's still part of your culture because you're spectating, you know? And then was there anything else on that, Tony, that you wanted to
highlight? I don't think there is anything else. I think just like my time there, it was always fun, because I was young at that stage. I was really young, so I was just enjoying that moment. But I do agree with you in terms of the gangsterism. Even then, when I was as young as I was then, I could see it within them.
Yes.
And it just became worse over time. And then obviously you come in to see this kind of situations in the stadium or outside of the stadium, people get out of hand. And so in terms of that aspect, that's always the negative side to it. But besides
that goes even deeper than what we probably can even discuss. We probably will elaborate on it. This is a platform where everything can be discussed and should be discussed, you know what I mean? Thankfully. So yeah, that is vital. I just want to check on something quickly as we both heard the technology doing its thing over here. I just want to ask you a question while I do that, if you don't mind just interacting and possibly answering. So back to the area, back to gangsterism also. How was the scenery? Because I have something profound that I discovered that is quite intense, like in the culture. So how was gangsterism and the scenery of Mitchell's Plain at the time? How was the streets? How was like the vehicles there? Because like I mentioned, some crazy things I discovered of our culture back then that is not what it is right now, you know. If you don't mind.
Yeah, no. I think also growing up in that area, I was kind of exposed to the gangsterism life, and you always recognize that as being cool, or having everything they want. They just the cool guys on the corners got the new shoes, or the newer shoes. They always got the latest things. Always talking to the girls, maybe have a car and those kind of things. So you always look up to those things and think like, that's something I maybe want to do one day or be one day. So yeah, in terms of that, I've been exposed to most of everything. Um, I've had encounters with my family members, my cousins, because we were tight as brothers. Um, yeah, we were tight as brothers, and we would catch on the world of nonsense, you know. So yeah, so in terms of that area, it was always something I recognized as being cool, and always something that I wanted to be a part of, and something at the stage in my life I tried to portray, not knowing the dangers and all of that come with it. But that is something I was portraying at one stage in my life, um, you know, outside of your home. So yeah, that's rough, but I'm glad life it has kind of directed me in the way it has, because I don't know where I would have been if I might have not had the opportunity to escape. Because the outside influence is so real. It's so easy to get caught up in a
So
situation where you never thought you would be even doing this thing.
yes,
But now you're there in it and you can't back out, because otherwise you then look like
yes,
a, you know what I'm
yes,
saying? You look weak or so,
yes,
you know
yes,
what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
So it's also that kind of peer pressure you put on yourself,
Mm.
because now you're in a situation where you can't say no. But because you are so afraid of what the next person, the next cool bra, the next bra you're sitting with that you've just met, wearing the coolest things,
And
gonna
sorry,
think of you.
sorry
Yeah,
to
yeah,
break on your
yeah,
word,
yeah.
you know. I just want to update everything. Just that the answer that you're elaborating on
Mm-hmm.
is the one of the gangsterism in the area, what the area was when growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your strain of thought. We just broke down and we are on Adam podcast. So we are
Yes,
doing
bro.
this, and the session's been amazing. Even beyond this, we are aware of what we've been talking about, so we were able to recap on that.
Mm.
But we've been just capping on Mr. Tony Barnes that we have here today with us, and we've just been covering on the areas in Mitchell's Plain, or not in, coming from being at Mitchell's Plain, then that transition went from Mitchell's Plain to Summer Greens, from Summer Greens to was it
What is
Watersug,
it?
from Watersug to Parklands right
Parklands,
now, and like we mentioned, to greater and more prosperous ventures. And
Amen.
with that being said, we're just covering the background of colored men and where we come from and a bit of our history. And Tony's just gonna take us back to how tense and tempting it is to go from a normal colored kid to being a gangster or gang affiliated and finding the love or desires or the temptations in it because of family members and so forth.
Mm.
Sorry, Tony.
No
Welcome back.
stress,
It's
man.
been awesome.
Welcome back, everyone. So yeah, yeah. In terms of that aspect, you know, it's the influences are always there, but I mean, depending on who you are rocking with, should I say, you have that option to say no and
Mm,
step back,
mm,
which I have luckily been able to do that.
awesome.
I wasn't always in a position where I was forced, or I felt I put that pressure on myself to say I have to.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
have to be what they are doing, whatever
And
putting the pressure
sorry
on
to
me.
break your word. We're probably gonna break each other's word about this one, just because you are in a very interesting topic.
Mm.
And with that said, you were saying you thankfully could make that. And maybe I can also elaborate. Sometimes there's always someone in your ear,
Mm.
being it a cousin, being it a family member, being it a friend, you know, whispering, come along. The person tells you you're going somewhere, you end up elsewhere,
Mm.
you know, and you realize a bit too late this is what was happening and you were being led astray or
Mm.
whatever. And now you're there and you witness things and you might enjoy it, you know.
Mm.
So
Mm.
just back to, sorry to break your word,
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to you thankfully could have the courage, I would say, and willpower to turn away a bit. And even though it was tempting,
Mm.
you know, you managed to do
Yeah.
so, you know.
Yeah, it was definitely tempting, though. It was
Mm.
definitely tempting to. I'm not gonna say I haven't, I would say, participated in, you know, certain things, but there were certain things that I decided on. I'm not gonna cross that line. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So it's not easy to do that.
Mm.
Especially growing up, you want to explore, you want to try these things that your friends are trying, that maybe your cousins or family members try.
Yes.
So yeah, so once again, I 100% agree with you. You're going somewhere, but you ending up somewhere that you're not expecting to be. And when you're there, you think to yourself, how did you even get here? How do you get here? You know what I mean? Because you had this idea of where you're going to be, how things are going to be, and then you end up in a situation where you either have to do something you don't like, or you're going to have to, don't have to, but you're going to participate in something that you weren't expecting to do.
Think you need to be a man,
and then there's consequences to that decision as well, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm glad I was able to say no when I needed to say no, and I think that also helped me kind of just balance it out to make me understand, there are different kinds of lives out there. It's not just this is what I see, which I was very fortunate enough to see both worlds. Because once you trapped almost like in a cocoon and you're only running around in that cocoon and seeing that world, should I say, and very rarely see it, the outside world.
Cocoon is a perfect example to make. Cocoon is a perfect
you kind of trapped,
Yes.
Some people trapped in their mind, some people trapped in what's out there, you know what I'm saying? So, fortunate enough, we were blessed to have an opportunity like that. I told you before, my mother took us out of the situation we were at and made us see a different world. And so I've been ever grateful. I mean, we're friends for decades now.
Yes. You guys don't know, myself and Tony are 20 years. 20 years this year, my bro. Jeez, we don't know what to do. We must celebrate it, but we will have to celebrate it. 20 years, roughly about this time of the year. Because it was also your birthday, I recall, if I'm not mistaken, going to your birthday this year.
Yes, sir.
Being invited, and that's how guys don't know what a great guy this is. But yeah. So like you see, coming from where you came from, and that molded, I would say, your destiny and where you saw yourself and where you wanted to go to, So yeah, but now myself and Tony, 20-year friends and friendship, and that's amazing. It's hard to find, especially in the colored community. I've lost a lot of friends along the way, yourself maybe also. But not by death, some maybe by death, but others by just having to part ways with them, having to part ways with the friendship that it is. Another topic, it's on the topic side, but it's about egos, colored egos, and colored egos sometimes suppresses the friendships, and you don't want to see your friend do better or not some crazy thing like that. I guess it is like that, but for myself and Tony it's very different because we can't say we see each other different because we never aimed at it, but it molded to something just what it is right now, and we put our egos maybe aside because everyone have an ego, you know what I mean? But when it came to our friendship, I guess we put the egos aside because we knew where we came from without even needing to discuss it, even though we did discuss it, but we knew because we came to a white school at a certain time in our life, you know what I mean? So going from college school, ghetto school, you know where you come from. And then that was a different opportunity, that you get given. And one can say, if every colored kid got that opportunity to just be put in a white school, maybe things could have.
Your chances
maybe
increase. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say increase.
I think
you see a different culture, different world, how they. How they deal with situations. So you find different ways.
You just change, and it creates a nice opportunity, And that's the one thing that I guess really switched up the game, the school part of it as well. Because certain times when my parents moved on in life, we were still in a college school, you know what I mean? Then that changed the whole game, a better education. And a different viewpoint also of life, I guess. But with that being said, that is where myself and Tony has come from and come to know each other. Guys now get to know that part of things also, which is nice and cool also because that is profound. It's cool if people can hear that, not just colored people, but people in general can hear that a friendship can go on for 20 years and God blessing more, God sparing more years. just because of how things have been. Myself and us, that's a crazy friendship, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Ups and downs, but more, 10 times more ups and downs.
Yeah, no,
That's
for
what
sure.
I
For
just thought
sure.
of it now. I literally just thought of that now. So, wow, another blessing, you know. So that's amazing. But back to the viewpoint of the colored man and how gangsterism is knocking at your door most of the time, especially in certain areas of certain times in colored communities and cultures. And then what I was asking you back to Mitchell's Plain and the area, how it was and how the how the area was and looked, because we grew up in different areas. I grew up in Kensington, which was also a ghetto, but just a very different ghetto. It's in the line, to my knowledge and my discovery. I always thought it, but to my knowledge and my discovery, it was always in the District 6 line, the famous District 6 line in Cape Town. So we are actually one of the first districts. The state, yeah, the industrial part of us, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
yeah. So, yeah, all the way up to the Buka, D6, you see.
Okay,
That's why
that's
Buka
mad.
still being in existence, because they're
Oh.
D6. So there's a lot of history that happened in Woodstock that was taken away in District 6 in the mid Cape Town area, where people were taken out. Where the CBD is right now, there was colored communities living there, the District 6 area. It's quite a large area, and it was all bulldozed down. Families were taken out of their homes, and it was obviously a ferocious time in colored community, because as I've been watching some YouTube videos dating back to 8 years ago, Tony, how crazy is that? You know what I mean? It should be more updated.
Yeah.
But with that said, videos of houses being bulldozed, people discussing how it was and how emotional it was. And this is where colored communities derive from: your Mitchell's Plains, your Kensingtons, your Grassy Parks, your everything. Once myself and Tony, just before this, were discussing suburban, urban, and rural. Just actually just touching the topics on which is which, and obviously then rural derived, and rural, actually, as we can actually all detest, if when you're all watching, that rural is not a colored thing. We urban, because we were placed, you know, it was ours.
But you do find colored in rural.
Currently, but like I was making the statement of,
yes.
in existence, that was not a thing for our people, you know. And with that said, it's been a crazy time then in suburban, urban, and rural, because, like I mentioned, in the D6 area was a cosmopolitan. Before those people were moved out, back to the colored areas, like I was mentioning, Kensington, gang affiliated, but on a viewpoint, if you're driving through, very nice, until you get to a certain point in the area, and then it becomes just a bit hectic, you know. And with that said, Tony will be able to elaborate on, like I was mentioning, what were you seeing in Mitchell's Plain at that time? What did the corners look like? Because in Woodstock at the time, it was clean. No gangsters in D6 at the time, no gangsters, only colored people, all dressed very nice clothes. New cars, though. Everybody running around, smiling, like I'm saying, no gangsters, no one standing in the streets, no one getting robbed, I'm assuming. Very nice time of life. 1960s maybe, I could be wrong, but around there. So how was like the Mitchell's Plains scenery and area?
The Mitchell's, with the book up actually, I can actually somewhat agree with you, because I have family there, and the houses there are actually pretty spectacular. Even just like a regular house, so I can 100% agree with you with that statement. Yeah, so back to the time in when I would go there on weekends and holidays and those kind of things. Um, I guess I was maybe a bit lucky that I wasn't living there, while I was growing up. It was more of a place where I would visit during weekends, long weekends, holidays. I was almost always there. because my granny was there, my uncles were there, my cousins were there. So those are the people you grew up with, and those are the people that I walked the streets with, basically, my cousins. You know what I mean? And I can 100% also agree with you. In certain areas, in the colored area, there's always that one area that's kind of the don't go there area.
But this would be but also in the time that you're saying, like the good time of this being the 90s also, and trying to uphold
but
standards.
even then there were still gangsters there. Growing up, there were gangsters there. Not as much as it
more
is
on a
now.
subtle level.
It's more on a subtle level.
More
so
business oriented.
it's not the entire area. It's maybe just a specific space in that area that you know that's where they operate.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And in terms of the corners, I mean, it was my time during there was like more in the afternoon and stuff. We would always be outside, and we would always play outside.
Yes.
Always, there wasn't a day that we were not playing outside. You know, and
corners full of
people,
talking.
There's a whole bunch of mix of whatever is going on. You know what I'm saying? So that was always nice. Yeah. And I always remember also going to the center and just playing. Always go there with my cousins and my
the town center.
The town center, yes, the town center. And back then it was very decent, very neat still back then. Yes,
I've never seen it.
It was very neat. You know, everything on its place. You still get your people that were in. They were broking.
Selling the fruits on the market, like a market actually.
Basically. And they would have their little mini markets basically set up.
Yes.
But back then it was very neat, very welcome. But over time, what's happened to it. I know you've been in that surrounding as well.
Yes. In a later time, like in my 18s to my 25s, there around. Even now, still to this day, because I'm now familiar with the place, I do pop back, and it's not that. Yeah, like you're saying it was a much different. Slowly, it is. Yes, but I was shocked to find out now, like you're saying, it was more.
No, it was. It was
I didn't know it was.
It wasn't so packed like it is now. There, it's like God must find space to drive there. You rather walk there than use your car. So that was like obviously being naughty, not always having the cash available to you always want to maybe scuttle, you do those things that you're not supposed to do.
If you didn't steal something as a colored, you gevaarlijk, man.
Steal, run, whatever. So I had a pretty exciting, eventful, a lot of things you do, and always catching nonsense as a colored night. So that was a mad time in my life. Used to be me, my two cousins, but mainly me and my other cousin. That was a dope experience, man. Dope experience. Yeah. I wish things didn't maybe change as much as they did within the area. But yeah, I guess that's part of life. But once again, we as the people from that community, or the people that stay in that community, we need to try to step up and just speak more about it.
Speak more about everything, about what happened in your home. Yes, everybody thinks, yes, we have the same home situation, but once you start talking about it, you will eventually want to come up with something, and something will eventually change.
So many things get swept under the rug. Whether it's within your family, because I've witnessed things that a child shouldn't witness.
Absolutely.
Whether it's inside the home or outside the home.
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning it. That is very important. Yeah.
So and it's all about speaking. Trusting the next person. Obviously nowadays you can't trust every single person. But I do know that small little campaigns. It's kind of campaigning.
Okay.
I would say the colored man and the colored culture.
Do you know the names?
Not necessarily, but I can share it with you.
I would appreciate it just to shout out the names on the platform. Because that is literally what it's about. I don't know that.
It's not as big. That's the thing.
That's not the problem.
It's very low key. Not that they're not trying to get out there. It's just that's how Moses happens to be. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's maybe because of interest or just
They
not
must-
worrying, not
Me
caring
and this
anymore.
man talk all the time. How do I find this out now? You know what I'm trying to say? Because we don't
Just
talk
happened
about
now. Yeah,
this, you know what I mean?
True, 100%.
So yeah, heavy topic,
100%.
heavy topic.
So yeah, even the things that are happening out there in the colored culture, with, you know, the community, I've heard like just one or two over my time of just, so that's not a lot. That just shows you, you know, already. So yeah, so I'm happy, you know, there's this kind of platform where we can kind of share what we've been through, and you know, we can kind of improve on things. So yeah, I'm really happy, you know, to be here first of all. So yeah, it's been a mad journey. I don't want to say it's been a bad journey. You know,
Yeah, it's
growing up
not
in
been
that
a bad
area,
journey.
I
That
think
was a
that's-
topic I was gonna bring up on that. We can't say it was bad. Even it was crazy, but it wasn't bad. It was lekker, man.
Yeah,
Even
that was our
your
normal.
pain was lekker.
That was our
And it
normal.
was pain. It was these crazy stories, you know, that we can really tell, and we might dive into it as the cast grows. You know what I mean? And depending who's gonna be on the shows, you know. But it is a crazy venture. But I was literally thinking that I wanted to discuss. You see, 20 years, but you can't. You know what I mean? So, bro, wait. So, wait, bro. You just, it's too intense.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
too intense.
It is.
It's too intense.
So yeah, hopefully we can try to slowly give back and you know, reach people.
Reach. And it's
I
not,
think that's the
that's
thing,
just the thing.
reaching
Just
the right person.
talking, that's just the
Just
thing.
reaching the right person, because
Because it changes in
one
here,
out
you
of
know.
10 people, there's gonna be one person that's gonna want to share, and you know, just trying to yeah, look back. You know, we're always so quick to, you know, forget about the past and just trying to look forward. It's always good to look back to where you came from.
Yes.
You know, to realize you should be proud of yourself, where you are at this moment. If you had the opportunities that you had. So yeah, I definitely say Michel's Plain has been probably one of the best times in my my childhood
that
life.
that era of my life being the same.
Yeah, it's just now that the things that are happening now, most recently and often. You know what I'm saying?
And it's more with the good people moving out, I guess. You know, if it can be said that way. You know, and it's not moving out with bad intentions, just moving out with the logical state, the state of safety, the state of concern for yourself and your family. It's not that you want to leave your people behind, and that's what the people don't even understand. You know what I mean? It's the same person that you gave bread to last night. They come and steal your bags tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that is literally a crazy example and story that happens. How I fed you last night, nigga, you know. But that is a biblical venture as well, where if someone takes from you, you need to give more even. So once more, amazing topics that we've discussed. It's gonna get a bitchy fun. There's no fun in games on here. We going hard. so yeah, that was the topics. You took 2 points where I wanted to discuss. So he hasn't even read this, but okay, he's on the he's in the cast. Here we go. So you already mentioned technically something. I was gonna ask you how. I'm asking you also how you covered the next question. How was the transition from, you know, the areas you literally been covering it along the way? That was the next question. You've covered that already. The next question was gonna be also after that was how was it to how, like, every person and every colored person, you should feel successful no matter what it is, because like we've just discovered, we come from craziest backgrounds ever. So whatever you're doing, even if you're working a 9 to 5, you made it. Just feel successful, and there's more success if you want it and if you can keep going, you know. With that said, like I'm just saying, how has all of that, and like I said, you answered it technically with, I feel gangsterism being a part of it, being pinnacle. You touched a bit of that, wanting to not feel that. And obviously your next venture is what, working hard, you know, believing in something else other than that, you know. So if there was anything else that you wanted to touch on that, like I said, the question was, how was I was being covered, how did that affect your success in life to where you are, you know? Like I was mentioning, not to put anyone down or any standards on this platform, I hope that I get celebrities and whatnot, and it's not really about anyone's title or how much Ferraris you have or what color your Bugatti is, but just about your success and how you feel about it. Like I mentioned, even if it's your 9 to 5. So just on that basis, how do you feel being colored?
I think as a colored man, me specifically, I've always been proud. Always been proud. I've always wanted to be connected, close to. To this day, I still go back to where I used to cut my hair. You know what I mean? You know this, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He's been cutting my hair almost as long as we've been friends, basically.
True.
19 years
You
maybe.
mentioned it. So that's his barber.
Yeah, that's my barber.
Konas.
Opposite, I think it's Superfood on the corner there. I think it's Busy Corner as well. Next to the post office. It's together.
Together.
It's together. So yeah, I've always been proud of who I am and where I came from. I've always been repping it from wherever I was, whether I was in a white school, whether I was in a colored area.
Yes.
And I would always, if I'm in a colored area, I'm always going by my nickname. I'm not going by my first name, you know. So that to me the transition
brings you back, it gives you that.
Always.
They still recognize,
yes.
even though you are not there, and even if you're not affiliated, you still have that respect that even at your head as a kid, because as you can be aware, colored kids do a lot. Colored young boys, that's why there's a platform for colored men, because colored young boys do a lot when they're young. A lot they shouldn't do, especially in previous years. Of our times, you know what I mean. So bringing back to that. So you still feel that respect. You still,
definitely.
in your name,
I feel
your nickname, you know.
I already feel more connected when you call me by my nickname. So I've always been proud of it, of that fact, and I'm proud of where I am. I don't ever take. Or maybe I am a bit hard on myself sometimes, but I always try to recognize how far I've come. Always looking at, okay, you can do better. You know what I'm saying? Or depending what your mindset is, you just need to kind of just keep on pushing yourself and repping yourself, because if you're repping yourself, you're repping the colored culture.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not shy to go back. It's just that was a vital part in the journey.
Yes.
In making me what
seeing
even
it.
Because my mother took us out there, and how she took us out there that's the craziest story. You would never. This doesn't happen to people.
Yes.
There's a newspaper article. This with me and my mother in it. My mother won a house in Summerlands. She bought something there and she threw something in the bucket.
I know the story.
Yeah,
I was hoping that you would elaborate on it.
So
this is a true blessing. I'm glad he is touching on this.
Yeah, no, when I found the story, it blew my mind because I saw the newspaper article at my granny's place. I'm like, and I couldn't believe it. I called my mom, I think, and I asked her, is this true? You know, is this love? Because you don't hear these things happening to us.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn, just imagine. And I always think back to that newspaper article. Yes. What if my mother didn't win the house in something? So whatever the case. This was by Morkel at the time. I'm not sure if people can remember. It was a furniture store, basically. You your couches, your beds, and those kind of things. So that's one of the craziest.
True blessing. That is a true blessing. 100%. You guys can all testify to that. You guys can all truly testify to that. That is a true blessing. I'm glad he elaborated. Obviously, I have many stories that I know about Tony, but like I said, this platform, we're going to keep it very restricted, and what you want to disclose, the guys will need to disclose with you guys. So you guys got the real gem there, in all honesty, because that is deep, that is exclusive files, and that is a true blessing. And Tony's mother is my mother, and as you guys can imagine, but what a true blessing that is to hear and to know of someone, you know, and also that you took it further, you know, that you didn't just leave it where it was, you know, you took it 100%. Further, and you might even greater ventures with it, and with the Lord also, you know. And was there anything else, sorry Tony, that you wanted to elaborate on?
No, I think that was if I look back on everything, once I discovered that newspaper article, that was the highlight of my childhood career. Because I thought at that stage already,
wow,
wow. So I could have been staying here at the back next door. You know what I'm saying? Because now,
yes,
now
of course.
that everyone's staying with
Yes.
everyone,
Myself,
just to get by.
yeah, crazy story. I was just checking if Luando Tony, he's maybe trying to bang the door now.
Okay.
I'm sure you can hear.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I was just checking with him, but it's not him. It seems that way. We'll give you a call also. But yeah, so back to that, you say that was mainly what you wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's
elaborate
more this. I
on.
mean, if there's another time for us to do this again, I'll be more than willing to explore more kind of ventures that I've done and things like that. But I mean, that's crazy. Like,
not just mean on that topic.
Yes, specifically on that topic. I think
so you're saying that also bold
that
who
is,
you want
yeah,
to
because I mean, it's possible.
Chance.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about changing the
chance.
mindset and not thinking it's too far out of reach for you, man. The thing is, just take the step and you figure out the next step thereafter. You know, because with each step in life you take, there's always going to be challenges. Even if you stay in the same place, you're going to be, you're going to be hit with challenges and challenges. So it's whether you just move on and try to find out how you can navigate through life and make the best of your situation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's like highlight. I mean, props to my mom for putting something in the box there. So yeah. Big up. She's you know what she is to me already.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing. And like I mentioned, really great gem that you guys are getting. And how the debut. You guys are lucky to get debut features like this. Yeah, no. The way I was thinking about it, I'm glad you brought it up because that's very profound. Some people are thinking, wow, you know what I mean? But it is a wow moment. It's a real wow moment because it's like, wow, like what a story, you know?
People you don't hear.
What a story.
What brother you know that just, hey,
what brother?
He's been so
when I found that out, I was blown away. And I found it out like later on when we were like over 18 or so. But what an amazing story, you know what I mean?
Crazy, bro.
Crazy.
You won't believe it
until
you see that
you know what I mean? I haven't seen the article, but I can just imagine.
I'll try to.
Nah, I don't need to. But you know what I mean? But away.
That's
amazing.
I want to get it because I'm in the photo.
Of course. It's pivotal.
Yeah.
It's pivotal.
It was at my granny's house, the photo is. I was taken at my granny's house.
Okay.
In
Mitchell's Plain.
In Mitchell's Plain, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, my granny.
Awesome. So that's a nice thing to hear. The success story and the greatest success that you're aiming for. That is very clear to also hear and very clear for us to hear also as a people that no matter what the situation, like I mentioned, no matter where you're working, no matter what you're even doing if you're not working, as long as you're trying to work, trying to earn something and positively, you know, do it a nice way, you know what I mean? Let's try to break away from what we're known to do or what we're known for, you know what I mean? With that said, you did discuss in the book up area, which I didn't know that you actually were. No, I think I did know. Yeah. But I didn't know that you were there that often actually, and that you actually also saw that the culture there is completely way different to the rest in Cape Town. So one question was also that, and then another one is that I'm going to hit you in two if it's fine. Do you have any bad racial experiences? So hit up on the technology quickly. I'll be right on there.
In terms of book up, actually because my mother had worked at was a pharmacy in Sea Point. I can't remember what the name of it is, but yeah, she's been a pharmacy and up the road is Sea Point Primary, and I went there in my primary school or preschool basically. And then I would go to some family members there, but 90% of the time I was indoors there. They lived in the flats section on the top, so you walking up all that stairs.
That's quite far, no?
That is for
sorry to break your word. For people that know where Boekap is, that's been to Cape Town, obviously the whole world, we know you love Cape Town and South Africa. We appreciate that. The Boekap area and the District 6 area is actually kilometers away from Table Mountain and Signal Hill.
Yes.
Literally. Those are the most beautiful viewpoints ever. And this was taken away from our heritage. It was ours, you know what I mean? Not that we wanted it or whatever. It was part of ours. And the people were taken away from it, you know what I mean? And crazy because the value of those things is that area today, Tony. This is something I want to mention, that the value in those areas today are sky high, and we were robbed of it. Unfortunately, no one speaks about it, no one talks about it. We work there today. We don't just think about it, we just live. But the market value, crazy, it was our people's heritage, and so much more could have developed from that. And just back to, was there any bad racial experiences that you had?
In life, or just like in my childhood?
Anything that stood out for you? Just as a colored man, because I don't think there's too much
environments.
possible.
In my working environment, more specifically, I feel like these more mature people to kind of have those kind of ideas. But as you're growing up as well, when you encounter these these kids from different schools and I say different backgrounds, these little you colored, you black, you white, sort of thing. But you kind of feel it more when you're older.
Okay.
When you kind of more matured, to understand how bad that kind of behavior is actually affecting you as a person. You know what I mean? Then it's like, oh damn, did that just really happen now?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we as a kid, you kind of brush off because you know what I mean, you were a kid.
Doesn't really.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. My
so
thing.
It's been more in my working environment. Lucky I haven't had too much time in that area or in that company. So yeah, it was more specifically in the working area, in my working environment, that I felt I don't want to say racial abuse
but just the experiences, like I said, the experience. Like I said, not abuse.
I think
that's what shows the word very. It's not a nice word, man, but yeah.
Most people from color, I feel like, might have had some kind of racial experience.
Right.
Whether it was, just saying something under their breath, or the attitude, or we all know, you know what I mean? I don't just need to explain it. I feel like we've all had some small situation, or whether it's big or not, you had that kind of encounter, and that kind of just kind of pushes you back like, damn, the shit still exists. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, it's been now how many years? How many years are we gonna still sit here and live like this?
True.
Everyone, not just us. Everyone.
We can go together,
deal with these things
and realize
also. Dealing with
also.
these things, bro. There's just way too much shit in life where you kind of still have to deal with some idiot's mentality.
Because everybody's going through life.
Yeah. Even that person, and still has the time. And even today, I still encounter people today that have that mentality and think it's fine because they're maybe not using the direct word.
Yes.
So they tiptoeing around and thinking that this is fine.
Yes.
And even in some cultures, they say it's fine, but when you try to mix the race, I mean, there's a problem.
Yes. True.
You know what I'm saying? So they're fine with everything, with the rules, they play along with the rules, but when the rules come knocking at your door,
then you
understand. So that racial experience is, I think, it's happened to me, and I think it might still happen again to me. But I feel like you just kind of need to deal with it, and hopefully also try to educate at the same time. Not just I say retaliate, educate, because that person is uneducated about those kind of facts and just saying things however it is they want to say.
It's also taken from a point of anger also.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what they're angry about, but they're angry.
Something unnecessary to be angry about, and automatically putting one race under that bracket or that umbrella, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hate that categorizing of you them like that, man. We people at the end of the day. So that's how I try to look at life. But I'm I'm not dumb. I can see I am colored, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I am proud of that.
And that's awesome. This man has said
remain
it
proud of it.
so many times, and that's
So,
dope, man, bro.
yeah,
Because
bro.
I feel the same way. We
Yeah.
know how we stand, so we are
However,
very, very,
wherever I
very
am, I
proud
try
of
to
it.
rep it. Whether it's in my clothing,
Yeah, no,
whether it's the
wherever
way
we
I
are, you
move.
cannot take us to a nice restaurant. We
Yeah.
will fluke your mouth, you don't know us. So yeah, nah, truly,
100%,
truly, truly,
100%.
we try to be the best of ourselves always, but we try to let that always be shown, which is very important that you say. And what very important is we're gonna touch the topic side now. But we're proud to be colored now, but we don't know anything about being colored. As we must now,
That's
as
so
we
true.
we must now discussing and we
Yes,
all
that's so
discussing.
true.
And I'm not making you a Noata, and I'm not making you a
No.
Noata, but you guys are clearly understanding what we're saying. We're very proud. I check a video now what it is to be colored. This means make a video on YouTube now for our culture, guys. What it is to be colored, swalcows, tukkies. Stupid shit, man. That is not what it is. They just bring up clips and like deep stuff, you know what I mean? And there's other people watching these videos and only
think it's a
thinking
joke.
that we
They think it's
are
a joke.
these things, you know what I mean? But we're gonna elaborate on that. Where we need to actually dive down and find our heritage again, because everyone else have heritage and we call our heritage Gatsby's and Klopse, which is Klopse is being one, but pardon me, Gatsby's gangsterism, shooting gun, you know what I mean? Lamming shaping on the yard, Jola, you know what I mean? Gala, we call that, you know what I mean? We call those things nice, colored culture. But like I'm saying, it's part of the topics, but we'll need to break down and actually find our heritage and where we going and where we come from.
I hope this motivates everyone that comes here to kind
True.
of, search
True.
now, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
And then maybe
watching.
speak to someone else about it, and that's how we
Absolutely.
spread the word. So yeah,
True.
really happy for this platform,
Oh,
because
yes, dope.
it also made me like, yo,
Just
I don't
realize.
know that much about
Me
my
too.
own
That's
culture.
what made me start it, guys.
So yeah, that's mad that you're doing something that we maybe all been thinking about. Maybe not doing a podcast, but just figure out, hey, where is it that you actually come from? Where is it actually that your father's footstep is gone? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's nice to reflect. Like I say, it's always good. You always need to reflect to where you were and where you've come from. I think it's important that we always build that, whether we're having families or, whatever it is, we try to instill that in our families, that, we need to try to improve our brothers and sisters' situations. We need to try to lend a hand when we can, because I mean it's really it's gonna make you feel 10 times better by giving you one hand than giving a whole body.
And people are thinking, because I know you, I can not say think for you, but people are hearing brothers and sisters and they're thinking family and siblings. And he's actually referring to every color being all of you as brothers and sisters. And none of us see each other in that way. And like I'm saying, maybe you guys did see it that way, but I doubt it. I think you guys were thinking siblings because we're fighting even as siblings, you know what I mean? So you already seeing the whole culture as brothers and sisters, and I think that's a very important thing that you mentioned here, that we need to start seeing each other as brothers and sisters, and not just the colored people, but even the world. We've been talking about it as the world, but let's start with our culture maybe first. And the people that we say we're proud of as colored people, and the people we call proud to be. So let's start with that. With that said, just a quick something on the side. I just thought to do something cool, something different. Maybe saw it elsewhere, but not like ours or not like mine. It's a bit original. It's called Breakers. Something for us, it's just a joke, yeah, Breakers jokes. So yeah, just a few questions. Everyone will probably have different questions, but everyone will still maybe have the same, because this will also voice or show what type of colored person you are. Just yeah. Oh, let me start off like this. I forgot, this one is not on here, that's why I'm gonna start like this. Chokers or survivors?
Chokers.
Peanut butter jam.
Chokers.
Chokers, so peanut butter. Okay, there we go. Curry or biryani?
Curry.
Okay, a gun or a knife?
Ooh. Gun.
Nah. A jean or tracksuit pants?
Tracksuit pants.
Okay, light or matches?
Matches.
Okay, samosa or pie?
Ooh. Oh, samosa. I have to
Chicken or beef?
chicken. Nah, it has to be chicken. It has to be chicken. Nice and spicy.
Okay, cut in two or cut in four?
Yo, cut in two.
Okay,
100%.
okay.
Cut in two.
So the breakers week, no?
Yeah.
Amazing, there's something on the side. You knew something coming. Thanks for Adidas. Clearly, it looks like it, but I knew he's gonna answer otherwise. I wrote this one for him. He told me the other day something, but I knew his answer's gonna change today.
You know, in different areas.
Nah, with everything else you can answer, no?
I go with Adidas.
Yeah, sporting. Okay. PSA Xbox.
PS.
Okay. Stuyvesant or Rothmans? You don't smoke, but it's just a question.
Stuyvesant.
Okay. Castle or Black?
Castle.
A Braai or Joe?
A Braai.
A Braai, Koi. Oka boy?
Oka.
Okay. Golden Dish or Anisas?
Golden Dish.
Okay. Ass or Teddies?
Pass.
Okay. Black or white?
Damn! Black. I'm black.
Okay. Salute. That
So,
was
bro.
dope. Okay, now that was a bit fun. I found that kak funny and fun. You know what I mean? It was just something
I'm
on the
tripping
side.
on it now. I'm tripping on some of the things now. I'm thinking like, hey, what does this mean exactly? But also,
That's just your perspective.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? What I mean? That class, no?
Yeah.
Oh God, dope. So we've been chilling for a long time. This has been dope. I know time is flying. I don't know how long he's been doing it. But we're just gonna touch a few topics. Tony's been so advanced and he's been touching the other side of the cast already. Let's see what he hasn't gone on to. So like we were saying, we discovered a bit of where we come from as a people, and it sounds very much like Cape Town was a colored area, you know, where predominantly there was then first colored people here. Maybe on the Cape there was Khoisan, is what I also discovered, and the sand, different brown type of people, different origin, and there are still 5,000 Khoisan, Tony.
bro, I just want to throw you a fun fact actually. So
I found
I
out
just,
recently.
the
Time
fun
to
fact
take them away.
Huh? No, not on that, not on that. Fun fact on that. Someone actually told me I was playing five-a-side and this guy told me I don't know if it was the Sand people or whichever culture it was that time, but because back then there wasn't as much food maybe available to them how they wanted to be, what they would do is they would eat themselves till their stomach is like duh. And what they would do is they would tie a rope around their stomach, either to measure how fast the food is traveling down or to slow down the process.
To know when
Yes,
to eat again.
exactly.
And that's
So
crazy because I could never understand
last week.
how they could be that.
Yeah,
There's a thin person with a beer mug, but he don't drink beer.
that's a fun fact. I haven't checked that fact
It
out myself, but
sounds-
this guy seemed to.
What was this? Hibernation? I heard something about. But it sound like hibernation.
They do the rope. I don't know if it's a rope specifically, but
Nah, it sound like hibernation.
So,
like I was saying, I
it's
did
mad.
some research and I was watching a Sandman. So I won't say he was talking. He was shouting about the culture and how we are being disrespected and not valued and taken from our land and all of this. It's a touchy subject, you know what I mean? So yeah, you were saying, and then I listened on the radio the other day that there is 5,000 Khoisan that still exist, and they are currently trying to uproot them from where they've been living for the past 3, I don't know how many hundreds of years. In today, guys, 2023, no? They are trying to uproot these people.
I'm not surprised by that fact because they've been doing it in different areas. So I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed to hear that that is something that is still going on.
You understand?
But I'm not surprised by man today, should I say, because we all try to change the worldly things. Either it was growing your business or those kind of things. Are you forcing people out of situations? I cannot imagine being forced out of your home. I don't know what that experience is like, what it feels like, but to being forced out to a place you call home, I don't know what that feels like. It must be tough.
I was watching Tony's. You know, this man is too deep. I was watching videos and it explains. I was watching some people that actually explains that they were removed, literally forced out of their homes. A bulldozer only came years later. They were forced and put out to Mitchell's Plain, and why I say Mitchell's Plain, because it was the dunes, is what it was known as. There's a beach land and
There's a lot of sand.
a lot of sand. So they were everyone that from the District 6 area was moved to Mitchell's Plain, which is the dunes, and that they were forcefully moved, just pulled out of their homes. The guy was talking about his father crying as they were being moved. His father still cries about that. The interview I watched was about 4 years ago. So in 2019, 2018, this guy's father is still crying about being forcefully removed. And some colored people have moved away from life and away from that thought, you know. But as you're saying, it is forcefully moved. We don't know what it feels like. But it's something in our culture. It's something that our culture should know about. Should know that we were forcefully moved. Because once you realize you were forcefully moved and put elsewhere, it means you are out of place. You know what I mean? Sorry, I had to be deep, guys, but it means you're out of place. You know what I mean? So that is one thing I think we need to venture on and seek towards. You know. Another thing I just want to get us back on online there is why do you think there is? When I get back, I'm gonna say something again on that. That's fine. But why do you think there's not a colored platform?
Damn, it's. I don't know. I don't know if we are too focused on improving our lives and improving just directly our family's life that we are not too concerned about pushing the culture. Like I said before, there is this small little
Running away from the past, you say, huh?
Yeah.
Running away from the past.
Because even the people that live in South Africa want to escape South Africa because of the problems South Africa has, and it's the same with the communities. You try to escape the community because you're trying to look for something better, and now you don't go back to try to improve that situation where you came from.
True, 100%. And when you come back, it's 10 times worse. I've seen this myself in my community, Kensington.
Sometimes they would actually call us, like back in the day, I remember, they'll tell us not to drive now, you know, next month because they're busy shooting.
I'm always getting updates. I'm always getting updates on who died and everything.
Yeah, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you know exactly what it's been like as well. You've had your own journey you have to walk with and yeah, just kind of be strong and get to here to this platform and kind of hopefully I don't know, maybe encourage someone or touch someone so that they can also, you know,
just do something.
So yeah, I don't know what the true reason is. I don't know if there's ever going to be a true reason. I feel like there's multiple factors that have played part in someone's sort of character and how they now see the world. It's just making sure you got the best, you sorted, and your immediate family is possible. If you have that thinking still.
You shouldn't get tired of it or something.
You understand what I'm saying? So whereas, why not look at these small organizations as trying to touch the communities? You know what I'm saying? You've luckily, you've just done it. You've not said, I need to wait for this and that day to happen. You've actually gone out there and done it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Which is mad because that's so inspiring to me. And how to say the vision that I have, because I'm at this stage like, okay, when I'm settled or when I'm at this stage, I'm gonna start giving back. But why do you need to wait? You know what I mean? And you showed me that, like, hey, why do I need to do that? Why can't I just give a bit cheap? You know, what's it gonna take? Just a bit cheap. So yeah.
That's amazing to you, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's try to take a lane, basically. You know,
literally
try to take a lane for your Danny, your auntie, someone's sister. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to, you know,
put each other on before we even need the help.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Why do it get to need to be a point where someone needs to ask? Someone say, yeah, here's a dingus, man. Or here's a dingus, have an extra this or extra that, you know? Why do we need to?
Try to be a role model, man.
True.
You know what I mean? They don't need to see that side.
So
We
we still
try
we
to
still
show
we
them
still
a better-
open on the platform.
Yeah,
You don't know why there's no
I
platform.
don't know why. I don't know.
It could be the cultural thing. Your brother-in-law, Gino, we were discussing it, and he's also gonna be on the course soon. He was mentioning that it's mental brainwash from previous generations, and which is an interesting topic because we all just now sit in that motion and in that mental,
No, true.
So I think that could be one topic of discussion. But just to go back, like I mentioned, I was gonna ask something or note something. Youngsta, Youngsta CPT. Everybody should know him. Quite an awesome rapper, dope rapper.
Dope rapper.
We don't put this man on. It's not that we don't like his music. It's not that anything. It's just that, like we were discussing, there's no platform. Firstly, and also we don't know how. You know what I mean? Maybe we were as a people we don't, and we should know how. It's just to support. I was speaking to a few people, and funnily enough, they say in business, the white people, not to make it a thing again, supports more. He's supporting their business more than colored people.
And this is
I've got
outside
two
of
people.
it.
Yeah, I've got two people that actually told me that. You know what I mean? So that is crazy to hear that you're getting support from elsewhere more than your own people. And there be a lot of people. It's your family first. It's your friends, then their friends and their family. Because it's support logically. But like I was saying, Youngster, no support, no platform. Before Youngster there was no other individual rapper from Cape Town like this.
I can't remember when
No, there's none. You can go back about 20 years and then we're talking about kings of hip hop, which is like your Eddie D and your Emil. So yeah, then there's those guys, and they were pushing hip hop, also colored culture, because that's where hip hop derives from in the Cape. Those two guys really, and beatboxing and all those things,
and
DJing and those things. So once more, no platform, and it seems that it's because we don't support each other, obviously.
I think it's more the people outside of the community where that person is based on. I think because I'd say specifically on Youngster, he rips that area Weinberg so much in most of his tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just the
I think
area
he has
itself.
a story as well, and
Should
it's
be,
mad
yes.
motivation. Like
Yes.
I listened to his I think it's 3T, the album.
Yes, it
Maybe
is
dropped about 2 years.
3T, no?
Uh,
3P or
3T.
3T.
3T. I think it dropped about 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. Mad album.
It is.
So dope.
It is.
And you could relate.
Hard
I
rap.
could relate so
Hard
much.
rap. Besides
what he was
even
saying.
relating, hard rap, you know what I mean? Hard rap, the flows is there, everything
Quality.
is there, quality rap, you know what I
And
mean?
his music videos were quality.
Music videos 4K. You get what I'm saying? It's there, it's some worse stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a real quality. It takes nothing to subscribe or like the man's video, you know what I mean? He should be paid from YouTube the way Jay-Z and all these other niggas are getting paid, you know what I mean? So that's very important, you know what I mean, that we put him on. And like, I'm not just talking about him, but he's the one doing it right now. Soon as we can get another one, there's this other guy, B, I think. Early B. He's alright, but he's not from the cup, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's also another story. So the colored people in PE is mostly derived from Cape Town. That I don't know if they were migrated. I can't recall. But I think they also just decided maybe to just move up, and now there's other cultures and colored people up there in that part of the country. You know what I mean? But yeah, like we're saying, no platform for the colored man to do most of anything. And it's all about, like I was saying, one of the businessmen mentioning to me, you have to make the platform yourself. And then you can then put people on, because he was saying the same thing. First get your thing going, then put people on, you know what I mean? So there is, it seems like the 1 in 1,000 that is having the mentality. So now just bring that ratio down.
No, 100%. Just bring the ratio down, then you'll see something. You'll see it pop up more often. To be more conscious of it. So yeah.
Another question, just it seems that we were pushing that way. What it is a question? Is our mentality suppressed? It seems a no-brainer then, because like I'm saying, there's still the factors of success in one's life. You know, so you can't really think that you're suppressed, because
suppressed in which way?
That's the thing. As a culture, you know.
But as a person, you still successful. But remember, you are your culture or something in those terms. So
I think that's a difficult one. I feel like because that is personal. I feel like
does that become a personal thing?
each person has its own experience. You know what I'm saying?
How
So
much
if
you
you
care for
weren't
your culture,
suppressed,
or
if I can use that word now,
mm,
if you weren't suppressed or your family wasn't suppressed,
mm,
you're not really conscious of it
okay,
as much as the next person that maybe had gone through.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So, in terms of culture, I feel like it hasn't necessarily been suppressed. Because the reason why I say that is because I feel like there are some races that sometimes want to be
mm.
colored. So that is why
Another
I'm saying
topic on
that.
its own, true,
So,
100%. And sorry, that's interesting subject and topic, because how do you make pain or whatever this is that the color people is, how do you make it look that good? That is always a question for me. How do we make it look that good? The suffering that we've been through
yeah,
and
it
possibly
looks like
still
we're
need
not
to go through,
suffering.
look like we're not
Basically,
suffering.
like we
They look
are,
lekker.
we're happy with what we have.
That they look lekker and we're sustaining and we're going for more and everything, but we're not growing as a people actually. Very, very, very important, bro.
I think you are suppressed into having one sided of the culture, basically. And I feel like people may be stuck in that area where they think it's like, okay, the situation I have now, that's the best I can do. What I can do now is maybe put some name brands on me. Name, you know, make
That's
my
when you
car
maybe
and those
feel
kind.
that value,
You understand?
greater value maybe.
You understand? You're filling
You've made it now.
that need maybe that you think is there.
Also helps gauge
for-
your class in society now,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Now, yeah, because you think now, okay, you're wearing a suit, but you know, can't you actually haven't changed as a person. So, yeah.
Just a question, we coming to the closing almost of everything, and it's really been amazing. But do you feel that like we now are now discussing what Woodstock and D6, all those places used to be and used to look like. Do you feel that ghettos like your Mitchells Plain, your Kensington, your Grassy Park, your The Dorp, your Maitlands, your, you know, every other Lavender Hill, all those places, do you feel that there is that possibility that it could grow to the suburban and cosmopolitan is what it was called back in the day. The colored people, we were living in a cosmopolitan of many different cultures and religions. Jews, Muslims, literally all living together. And so do you think there is that opportunity? You
Yes, and
can't talk
I don't
about
want to.
100 years, no?
Yeah,
Or
I
50
know, I
years,
know.
but
Yeah,
you know, do we
it's so
all need to
difficult though.
look at that mental? Do we all need to want to aspire towards that goal? Should it be the goal as a people? Should we have a party that is saying colored power, what? You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
feel like you need to cut off the leg in order to survive.
what do you mean
When I
by
say
that?
you need to cut out all the negative influence that are there in those.
Oh, the leg, not the
You
leg.
need to, yeah. So sorry.
Mm.
You need to cut out the fungus basically
Okay.
in order for
To
it
get
to
to
where it was, and so it came to prosper
comes
more.
down maybe to the mentality than being that
Mentality,
fungus, no?
and there are other factors like there are other people that want that community to stay where they are because they maybe benefit of it financially, because there are those kind of influences in terms of business wise. Just we keep them there, keep them happy, we give them a picture of this, or we give them a picture of that, we also benefit.
True.
Because I believe that that is a fact. But I might be wrong, but I feel like that is a fact that there are people, there are outside influences that want the community to remain how it is and just grow slowly every 30, 40 years. Maybe they upgrade the roads or something like that. But yeah, and there needs to be a bit more, it requires more work from the community itself as well. Willing to, having the willingness to change, having the willingness to improve the surroundings.
Yes.
I don't think it's impossible because I believe everything is possible with God. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
It's just we need to try to figure out where the fungus is, try to cut it out, or at least try to minimize the influence from these outside people and these negative things with inside the community and create more positive things inside the community, more places, more areas where if the kids that are not bored. There's no child going hungry thinking like I need to steal bread
Yes.
and getting locked up for stealing bread because you hungry, you want to try to feed your family. So more of those and more educating, just educating youngsters of what is possible and how not to go that direction and try to lead in a more positive area where there's these, I would say, positive activities for them. I know it's difficult in terms of, I'm sure there's outside influence like uh, politics and how many kids you can get there and how many kids you can feed financially. So I don't know if that is also a contributing factor as well. I do believe it is, but I feel like there is enough of us out there to somehow try to contribute a bit. How, I don't know, whether it's hands-on, whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, whether it's whatever it is, just trying to touch that one child that's looking to be touched. And not talking about touch, I mean mentally touched.
Yes.
To realize that, okay, that's cool, but that doesn't have to be it. That's not the life that we have to aspire to be. You know what I'm saying? There are other things out there. There are other ways to fulfill your need as the colored person as well. By touching the next colored person in a positive mindset,
giving them a book to read, finding out what their goals and aspirations are, and just giving them a word to push for it,
listening to them.
And that creates a suburban society, you say, because that is what it is, I guess, in a suburban society where people are supporting each other, and growing together and looking towards, what's your son doing? Is he going to be working? Here's opportunity here, or there's opportunity there,
Take a lane for the next person's son, father, Okay, they're good in welding, they're good in this. You don't have to be the smartest lighter in the room.
Yes.
But you all have abilities, you know what I'm saying? So use your strengths, work with your strengths, my bro. It's going to get you to a place where you're going to always improving yourself with that. You're just using that as leverage.
Yes.
Once you drop that thing down, you just go straight, my bro.
Yes.
And that's all it's about, my bro. Just having that mindset and continue with that mindset. It's not about today I'm gonna have a positive mindset and tomorrow something's gonna happen and I'm just gonna do this. Nah, you need to persevere in life. You're always gonna have these hurdles, bro. Always, no matter what situation you're in. Whether you're living in a rural or suburban, you're gonna have hurdles everywhere.
True.
So that's how you deal with it, how you try to make the best of it.
So it's about suburban is like stressing how much petrol is gonna cost for your Porsche or your Maserati. There's different levels of
stress.
Yes, but it's
I'm not saying
amazing. It's amazing, yeah. No, I'm just saying also that it's amazing that it's true what you're saying, that it sounds 100% positive that they can, because every guest is gonna get this question at the end, because that's a very the deep one, just to find out, do you feel there is that possibility that the urban view spectrum for a plane, you know what I mean?
I think there's
and
always
such a vibe.
But the politics as well.
No, but you said the best things, bro, that it comes within, and within the community itself, and it can then happen just with the motive of wanting to do it.
Just persevering because we know what they want to do to us. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna make it difficult for us.
Correct.
Don't mean we can't keep.
No matter what obstacle,
They can't scrap the law. If I can state it like that, they will just put these barriers that you need to overcome that maybe the next person doesn't face. Now you face with 10 barriers and then you give up. But you don't know the 11 barriers where you get in.
Yes.
So, it's all about persevering and just be positive and just be kind to the next colored man, you know what I mean? Don't look down on your own people. Try to, don't see your brother, see him as a call god, now you want to disrespect him. You know what I'm saying? That man has a family at home. He has a child that looks up to him and adores him. Now you want to treat him like however you want to treat him. So just respect, man, the next person and the next colored man, You need to kind of try to make it a thing that, don't be eyeing me when I see you.
Greed.
greet, man. You know what I'm saying? What is it to greet nowadays? So yeah,
we
it's just,
grown, we
it's just
look at
about,
each other as a colored man. We all know what we're talking about. We look at each other differently. If that guy looks nice today, you will never tell him that your look will be the worst look you ever give him, and he will know he looks good because you gave him that look. You know, that's how deep it even
yeah,
is. You know,
bro.
and it's just that smirk on your face that you don't like this guy. You know, and it's just in our culture, like
Not true. Easy in our
Tony's
culture.
mentioning. So it does need to change, and I'm glad to hear that there is that possibility of a greater society, you know, and that the Cosmopolitan can be back on the books starting, not saying starting 2023 because we've been living, you know what I mean, but at least with us pushing this motion and notive onto our kids, you know what I mean, things could change. Tony,
100% agree.
my bro,
Yes, bro.
this has been gevaarlijk, my bro. A vintage
Appreciate it. It's honor to
session.
be here.
It's been
Super
mooi.
proud of you.
Awesome shot, bro.
Just want to say it on here as well.
Ah,
You
shot,
know
bro.
that already. Super proud of the journey that you've taken to get here, bro.
Away.
And your willingness and persevering through your own obstacles to start. You know what I'm saying? So I wish you all the success, all the best,
Shot,
man,
bro.
bro. And you know, from one colored man to another, man, bro. If you
Away.
ever need me to take the lane, bro, I'll do it.
Nice, salute, bro. I already know that. That's the best part. But salute, bro. I
I
really
wish you and all
appreciate
your
it.
guests
Class.
have a good time and just, you know, look back and I hope the viewers enjoy the content and once again bigs up to you, bro. This is all possible because you've taken the first step. Wish you luck in your journey.
Shot, bro.
And may long live to Adam, bro.
Class.
Long live to Adam,
Thanks, bro.
bro.
Thanks, bro. So guys, that's us, or that's me on Adam, Tony, our guest today here. It's been amazing. We touched crazy topics. We didn't know what we expecting, but I think we really put out a good show today, in all honesty. And yeah, thanks for watching, Adam. Content will be posted. You can catch me on my own handle on YouTube, being Damien Julie 7145. Damien Julie 7145. That's at the beginning, so at Damien Julie 7145. You can catch this on YouTube, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and there will be much more videos coming through. Peace out.
Peace out, people.
Salut, bro.
So, bro.
Class.